Hello, welcome. My name is Tupokigwe Isagah, and I'm a lecturer at Mzumbe University. I participated a course of transformative learning and course redesign, which was offered in 2019 in Morogoro as part of a course redesigner. And in this course, I was able to redesign my course, which is data warehouse and data mining course that is taught to the third-year students of Mzumbe University in the Department of Computing Science Studies. Now, when I attended the workshop on the first day, the first thing that we were taught is first we need to care for, we need to understand the 3 Ps. And then for the 3 Ps, which are the participant, the purpose of the course, and the payoff. So before starting redesigning my course, I thought of these 3 Ps. And for me, the participants were the undergraduate students who are the third years. But then again, I needed to know what is the purpose of the course. And for this case, the purpose of the course was to enable learners to extract data from various sources and organize collected data in such a way that it can be used for analytical purpose. But then I had to think further, what is the payoff of this course? And the payoff was, it was for them to become data warehouse managers as well as developers of business intelligence and solution. Now, after having these 3 Ps during the workshop, we were broken into different rooms, and then this was day 1 actually, and then thereafter, each of us had to think of the big picture, and this was very important for me. I had to think of what is my big dream, what do I want my students to become, and for me, it was important to have graduates who can manage the data warehouse projects and as well as apply business intelligence tools to make smart decisions. So this was the big dream that I thought of during the first day of the workshop, which actually guided me throughout the rest of the days in the workshop. So from this big dream now, the next step was, now what do I want my students to learn? What do I want them to learn in such a way that they can achieve this big dream that I have? So there were 2 things for me. The first one, I wanted them to manage the data warehouse. And from this, I came up with the things that students need to learn. For example, where to get data, what is a data warehouse, challenges, design processes, governance processes. And then coming to the next thing that I also wanted my students to learn, that is business intelligence tools. Here, I thought of what is BI design, the business intelligence design and implementation process, as well as which tools are used to make smart decisions and how to apply them. But all these were just, we were just thinking and then coming up with different things. Then from this stage, in the rooms that in the session, like we were put in small groups, and then we were also asked to further come up with do the intensive writing, come up with different topics that we want our students to learn. And from this, I came up with these different topics. For example, the first one was from the topic, what is data warehouse? I wanted my students to learn the components, characteristics, as well as definitions of data warehouse. And maybe for the opportunities and challenges of data warehouse, I wanted my students to know the benefits of the data warehouse as well as the potential areas. So this is how we did. We tried to do the intensive writing, put all the things that were in our mind into a piece of paper, and then later now, we moved into further step, whereby all these sticks were put into manila sheet. As you can see here, it is a little bit of messy, like there are a lot of things, there are a lot of topics there. And again, coming back to the course that I was about to teach after redesigning, it was supposed to be taught for 15 weeks, but then only 2 classes in a week. So you can imagine having all these topics here would be difficult to cover for those 15 weeks. Therefore, we were further taught, directed on how we can best try to conceptualize all the idea that we had on this Manila sheet. And this is where now it moved into the next step, which was now grouping similar themes together and then try to find a name that can hold those similar themes. For example, in my case, I had a theme like types of data sources, data warehouse versus databases. So these were the things that I wrote on my sticky notes. But then later, since we are told to come up with an overall concept of those similar themes, to me, I felt like these three are more into data warehouse foundations. So I grouped different themes together. Then I had the next one, which is data warehouse design, data warehouse maintenance, as well as application of data warehouse. And at the end of the workshop, of course, this kept on evolving. From the first day, those were my concepts that I tried to generate on the first day, but it kept on evolving until the last day of the workshop, whereby you can see here that my Manila sheet is much, much better. I have defined concepts as well as different themes that I want to cover for each concept. Now, maybe another thing that I would like also to present to you is how we were taught to come up with this concept map. We were told to come up with the concept map by thinking of, first of all, our big dream, and then thereafter try to see what are the big themes that we want to cover in our courses. So for me, what I did is I thought of different questions that I wanted to answer along the design, along the implementation of my course. For example, I thought of a question like, how can the student manage data? But again, how should the data look like in the warehouse? And then also, once they know how the data look like in the warehouse, then what should they care? Like, what should they care to ensure that this data that is in the data warehouse is maintained well? And then finally, if the data is there and maintained well, the last thing will be how to make use now of that data so that it can be used for analytical purpose, which now you can see that I have somehow covered my big dream. That is, now they can manage the data warehouse, but at the same time, they can use the data that is within the data warehouse to make these decisions for organization. So from there now, after having these questions, I conceptualized the concept map, whereby the first one was more into data management because it is more into how to manage the data. But then the next one was about, now you have the data, now how do you design your data warehouse, whereby we have also different themes there. And the third one was maintenance of and governance of data warehouse. Now, since you have already designed the data warehouse, how are you going to maintain it and how are you going to govern it to ensure that it is always there and it is safe? And also the last concept for them was the application of a data warehouse, where now I thought of now students, it will be nice once they know how to govern the data warehouse, they should also know how to use different applications to utilize the data that is within the data warehouse. So this is how I conceptualized all the concepts during the course redesign, those 5 days. But then it did not stop there. I kept on thinking, of course, with the help of my mentors who were also facilitating us during the course redesign workshop. And then later, just before teaching this course in 2019, I came up with this, like a more revised version of my concept map, whereby you can see the 4 concepts are still there, but now I had more defined themes that I wanted my student to learn in October 2019. And this is what I used in 2019, and also I used in 2020 to teach my students on this course of data warehouse and data mining. So the first day was all about generating the concept map, and then we have more in the next days. Therefore, I will see you next time. Thank you.